I have decided that I want to do a paleo challenge for this month. I'm sure you've heard the word paleo before. It's basically caveman diet. Um, the reason I went with paleo is I've been doing a lot of reading, researching, as always, talking to nutritionists and my doctor. I actually have a follow-up appointment tomorrow, which I'll blog about more because I'm waiting on some tests to come back. Anyway, my blood type is O positive, which is the hunter, which is basically paleo. We're supposed to thrive off high protein, and um, I did a video actually on blood type before, so you should check it out. But it's really interesting because a lot of the the specific things they say to avoid, actually I should avoid, and I know this from trial and error. My hesitance was that we're supposed to thrive off high protein, and I was like, well, I want to eat vegan, and I don't know how it's going to work, but we'll see. Also, I did an article on PCOS, which is um, polycystic ovary syndrome, and that diet actually is also really close to blood type O and also paleo. It's high protein, and you're not supposed to have really alcohol or processed sugar, caffeine, dairy, or gluten. So then you're like, well, what am I supposed to eat? But, oops, sorry. It's actually, if you read the about on my blog, it's basically how I'm supposed to be eating anyway. I'm not supposed to have caffeine, alcohol, and sugar. The dairy and gluten, I go back and forth on. Like, I can have dairy here and there. I don't get like really sick with it, but it's not my best friend either. I just love cheese. And gluten, which I'm laughing because there's a funny video that I saw where they asked these runners, these joggers in LA, what gluten was. Everyone said they were gluten free, but no one could say what gluten was. Anyway, um, I don't have anything major like celiac disease or anything like that, but there is a gluten sensitivity, like with just when I have it itching and like things like that. So, but the reason why I'm supposed to avoid it if I eat according to PCOS, which is supposed to help regulate hormones and make sure you're on track for fertility and um, keep your body alkaline and not inflamed from the stuff that we eat. Keep your hormones in order. Is just lost my train of thought. Anyway, I'm supposed to avoid those things on that. And so with paleo, I'm just going to do a brief overview. I found this fun article. It's from nerdfitness.com. And it says, paleo is basically what we'd eat back in the day. It's anything that we could hunt or find, which includes meat, fish, nuts, leafy greens, regional veggies, seeds. So no pasta or anything like that, nothing processed. There's incredible transformations that happen. Some people, I was reading how their body goes into a form of ketosis. I think I'm saying that right. But they do high fat, so their body thrives off of fat instead of sugar. This isn't necessarily the goal of paleo from what I've been reading, but I'll explore all these different options throughout the month. So basically, with agriculture, we started eating a ton of grains, and according to this, we're not really built to process grains like bread, pasta, rice, corn, and so on. It's led to people being overweight and having all kinds of reactions and issues. So with paleo, you cut that out. You cut out gluten, and gluten's a protein found in things like rye, wheat, and barley. and it can cause things like dermatitis, joint pain, reproductive problems, which is why you're supposed to avoid it with PCOS diet. It can cause acid reflux and more. Lectins are natural toxins that exist within grains, and according to blood type O, which is really based on lectins and the response to your blood type, you're supposed to avoid certain things. And so that's also why I'm incorporating my blood type, because it also mentions, staying away from certain lectins. So where the blood type comes in is it gets really specific, like even with vegetables, my blood type, I know I'm supposed to stay away from things like Brussels sprouts, because of the lectins and the reaction on my thyroid function. I personally, my thyroid tests have come back okay. Oops. But my dad has serious thyroid issues, so it's in my family. But where it can affect me is like just with basic weight management. So the combination of these things, even though they're like the foundation seems paleo, I can get really specific with the three of them. Okay, what else? Paleo diet is really big on, it eradicates sugar. So no sugar unless you're getting it from fruit. And I'll be watching that. So no grains, no sugar, no processed foods. Sounds easy enough, right? Anything else? Not all carbs are bad. There's things like sweet potatoes and fruit, but again, in moderation. Dairy, no. Talked about that. And so what's left? Meat, grass-fed, fowl, which is like chicken, turkey, anything with wings. Fish, wild fish because farm fish has a lot of the toxins in them. But then again, wild fish and all the stuff in the ocean. Anyway, that's another conversation. Eggs, vegetables, as long as they're not deep fried. Oils like olive oil, coconut oil. Fruits, nuts, and tubers. I've never heard this term, tubers, but it's basically sweet potatoes and yams. So that's my challenge for this month. Just to really quickly touch on this decision. Again, my goal with this blog is to reach optimal health. So I know that I did vegan for a couple of months, almost 3 months now, and I hate to disappoint some of you who may be vegan, but this is my journey, and I'm trying different ways to eat to see how I feel. My experience with vegan is I was feeling incredible for about a month and a half, but I think in hindsight I was like on a sugar high. And I didn't do it like, for instance, Sweet Potato Soul. She has really balanced meals. I did some days I would eat that way, but because I really binge on sugar, which I've talked about many times on this blog, it was too easy for me to have like banana ice cream for breakfast and like 10 peaches for lunch, and then dinner rolls around and I either didn't eat dinner or I'd have more fruit. And so I know that there's some people, their philosophy is that eat all the fruit you want and you can just thrive off fruit. But because I'm healing my body from decades of sugar abuse, processed sugar primarily, it's not just physically, it's like a mental and spiritual healing that I'm going through. So for me, I just find that I'm not in the place to really handle eating that way. And so because I need a constant, sugar's been my constant. It's not healthy. I don't know, I'm exploring paleo, and I don't want to eat a ton of meat either, but I'm going to see how it goes. So if you know me, if you know me outside of the blog, part of my personality is I like to try everything to try it. So I'm going to see how this goes. I'm going to document my experience, and I don't know. We'll see.